Hi, my name is Ashish, and in this video we will see integrate Azure Front Door with Azure API Management. Well, as we all know, Azure Front Door is a global scalable entry point that uses the Microsoft Global Edge Network to create fast, secure, and widely scalable web applications. Azure Front Door supports dynamic site acceleration, TLS SSL offloading, and end-to-end TLS web application firewall, cookie-based session affinity, URL path-based routing, free certificates, and multiple domain management. If you want to browse through full list of supported features, you can see the Microsoft documentation, and it provides built-in DDoS protection and application layer security and caching. Well, in this video, we'll demonstrate detailed steps to set up Azure Front Door in front of Azure API Management and the steps to restrict APIM access traffic only from Azure Front Door. The point which is very important is that Azure Front Door needs a public IP or a publicly available DNS name to route the traffic to, right? So if you want to integrate Azure Front Door directly with Apim, APIM should be deployed in public internet or deployed in external VNet mode. The APIM instance should be accessible from external load balancer. So to begin with step 1, we will create an APIM instance from the Azure portal. So let me just quickly log on to the portal and take it from there. Okay, I am logged on to the portal, and I will create a resource, and I'll write APIM, which is API Management. I'll click on Create. I'll create a new resource group. I'll do AZ just for this lab. I'll do it in East US. Resource name would be email. Let me type in my email. Right, pricing tier I am doing with basic. Monitoring, I'm not enabling any monitoring. I'm just going with default. Now if you see the connection type, I'm going with none. Okay, virtual network is not supported in the basic tier, and you can connect to Azure API Management instance either publicly via public IP address or service endpoints. I'm doing with none so that I can connect with it publicly. Protocol settings, I'm going with the default, review plus install, and I hit create. It's initializing the deployment. Submitting the deployment. And after this, the next step would be to create a front door from the Azure portal. So if I open up a duplicate tab or wait for it, let me wait for the deployment to complete. I'll pause the video and come back. Okay, my Apim solution is ready. Now I will create a front door from the Azure portal. Now I will create the front door profile. Let me go to home, create a resource. I'll type in front door. Let's see what it does, right? So I'll select this one. So now we'll create the Azure Front Door. You click on create a resource. You type in front door. Click on it, front door and CDN profile, click create. Explore other offering, front door classic, hit continue. This one, the resource group that I have my APIM in. In the front end domain, click add a front door, or you can do it later as well. Review, create. Okay, it needs a configuration. You click on add a front end domain host. You can type in any globally unique name. I'm going to type in Azure front end, add. Now you create a backend pool. Backend pools can be composed of storage, web apps, Kubernetes instances, or any other custom hostname that has public connectivity. So Azure Front Door requires that the backends are defined either via public IP or a public resolvable DNS hostname, right? So members of backend pools can be across zones, regions, or even outside of Azure as long as they have a public connectivity. So if you click here, you type in Azure backend, you add a backend host type will be our API management, and then subscription, backend host name, 8443, port number, priority, weightage, status is enabled. I'm going in with these options. Leave all the other fields default. Port number for HTTP, port number for HTTPS request, priority is 1 because I don't have any other backend. So you click on add. Now, please note, if you use public IP address of the backend hostname, by default, you will get 503 error response code from Azure Front Door as it thinks the backend certificate common name mismatches. The workaround is to go to the Resource Explorer, navigate to your Front Door resource, then change the enforced certificate name check as disabled. It takes some time. And now I'm going in with the default, click on add. Now you add the routing rules. Now back to the backend pool page. If I go here, we also need to change the default health probe settings. Set the path with the health probe path for the gateway endpoint API IAM. So this is the path. Now if I see my gateway endpoint, let me log on to the portal again. Gateway endpoint. This is the one, right? I go here and add it here. I think it will. Like this. Health probe. The probe method is get, and the path to the health is this. So let me see the path. This is it. I click on update. Now you can also use the custom domain of Apim instance in the backend hostname field if you have any. But please note, if you are going to route traffic using HTTPS via port 443, only certificate from valid certificate authorities can be used at the backend with front door. Certificates from internal CAs or self-signed certificates are not allowed. The certificate must have a complete certificate chain with leaf and intermediate certificates, and root CA must be part of the Microsoft Trusted CA list. Otherwise, the HTTPS traffic might fail. Now, if you click on routing rules, name it accepted protocol HTTPS, front end domain is your this, patterns to match star all, and route details, route type is forward, backend is Azure backend, HTTPS only, URL rewrite caching is disabled, click on add. Now, Azure Front Door supports TLS, SSL offload and end-to-end TLS, which re-encrypts the traffic to the backend. In fact, since the connections to the Apim happen over its public IP, it is recommended that you configure your front door to use HTTPS as the forwarding protocol. Now, the final step is review create. And create. After this is done, there are ways you can test the integration. Now, once the provisioning is complete for Azure Front Door, the request will automatically get routed to the Apim instance configured in the backend pool. And you can use Postman to test this integration. You can test with calling Apim instance directly. You use the default sample API in Apim, which is an echo API. We can get 200 OK back successfully using the Postman. Then you can replace the host domain with your from the API.NET to your front door front domain. Then test again in the Postman. We can see, you would see that the request is forwarded to Apim and you will get 200 OK back successfully as well. So this is my Postman dashboard. So I'll go to my front door, my Apim. This is the gateway URL. And if I click on here, I do send. It's not found. Why is the resource not found? Oh, I need to go to the sample API. I'm sorry. So when you click on APIs, you get an echo API, then you can get, this is the request URL that you can copy and you can test it on the Postman here. I hope this should work. Okay, access is denied due to missing subscription key. So because it is secure, so if I go to subscriptions on the Apim, I add a subscription. I'll do scope APIs. I am the user. Create. So it will create a subscription. My subscription is created. So when you enable it, you can add the key here. Now, if I remove this, if I edit this part, cancel And if I enter the URL as my front door URL, and if I enter the front end domain name of my this front door, I should like this slash, let me take it this part from here and paste it in this request. Echo request same. Access denied due to missing subscription key. Make sure to include subscription key when making the request to an API. So that is how you integrate the front door with the Apim solution. Now, if you want to restrict the incoming traffic, how can we ensure our APM instance only accept requests from Azure front door so that all traffic is protected, filtered by Azure front door? First, you need to, if you see the official document where it talks about locking down APM to accept traffic only from specific front door, we will need to set up an IP ACL for Apim instance and then restrict the traffic to the specific value of the header FTD sent by front door. Now, if you want to restrict the inbound IP or the to only accept traffic from Azure front door backend IP address space and the Azure infrastructure services only, you have to go to the for Apim instance deploy as external VNet mode. We can simply restrict the incoming IP using the inbound rule in the NSG, because that is available only in the the premier version of the Apim, and then you allow incoming traffic from the Azure basic infrastructure services through virtualized host IP, which is 168.63.129.16 and 169.254, 169.254. And you have to be very careful not to forget to allow all necessary inbound rules for Apim deployed in VNet mentioned in the Microsoft documentation, and you have to deny all the rest of the incoming traffic. Now, this is your if you go here, and this is your Apim solution. This is not integrated to any network because of the pricing tier, right? So Azure Virtual Network allows you to place your Azure resources in a non-internet routable network, which can be connected to your on-premise networks using VPN, right? It's only available in the premium. So if you want to change it, you can go to the pricing tier and you can select the premium version. You can save it, and then you can integrate the virtual network and restrict the traffic. And if your Apim service is not deployed into VNet or none of the virtual network type, then there is nowhere you can put the inbound rule in, but you can still leverage Apim IP restriction policy to achieve this goal. So if you want to achieve it, let's say you want to, if you come here in the export template, now you have to check the policy doc wherein you have the access restriction policy and restrict the caller IP. So IP filter policy filter allows or denies call from specific IP addresses. Go to the API management, you select the design tab. There is none. Let's say you want to restrict the specific, you click on API, let's say this is an API. You click on go to settings, go to design. Click on all operations. These are the policies. Here you defined the add the policy for the filter IP addresses. If I just see inbound processing, outbound processing, add a policy, filter IP addresses, IP filter policy. You can click on IP filter, allowed IPs, add a filter, IP and range, IP address 2, this is the range you can specify. So you are restricting the API access to a certain IP for the Azure infrastructure or for your allowed IPs if you are not using the premier version of the Apim solution to add those IPs or in the inbound role of an NSG. Alright. This is how you add a policy. And you can also filter the incoming request based on the HTTP request header named Azure FTID. Azure front door will send this header to Apim with its unique front door ID. I hope this was informative for all of you guys. If you have any further queries, mention them in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you. Have a good day.